start today's class. And here, let me show you about the circle and about creating some arcs. Okay, with some diagrams. Let me go for it and let me create it. Okay, so for that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create some lines. Okay, so for that, what I'll do, I will choose this snap mode, this functional key, which is controlled by F9 by your keyboard. So let me on this. So what will happen? It will snap within this grid snap points. Okay, as you can see, this crosshair is restricted only between the intersection point of your X and Y grid points. Okay, so if you are working as per your grid layout, then go for this F9 option or snap mode. You can control the grid layout. So for that, let me go with DS, that is drafting settings. Enter, one window will be opened, and there you will find out this snap and grid section. And there you have this grid spacing option, grid X spacing, grid Y spacing. So right now it is set to 0.5. You can go for like 1, you can change it to 1. Okay. And here you would see this is updated with this Y is also matching with this X spacing. So that is right now set to equal X and Y spacing. That is why it is matched right now. Okay, so that is the snap spacing. So you have to match your snap spacing with the grid spacing if you want to work as per the grid layout. So right now I have just set the grid layout, the grid X spacing and Y spacing, and as per the unit, it will set. So let me match my snap settings. Okay, so right now it is done. And you can go for units as well. So if you need to change your unit, so let's go for units, U and enter unit, and you have this length type that is decimal. And you can go for architectural if you are using feet and inches. You can choose engineering. Sorry, guys. Okay, so if you're going with decimal, so then a meter, millimeter, centimeter kind of uh, length you can use. Uh, Dimension unit you can use. And if you're going with architectural, then you can use feet and inches. And for engineering also, you'll be using feet and inches. But what is the difference between architectural and engineering? So if you're using the architectural, then your unit inches will be shown in fraction. And if you are using engineering for displaying your inches and all your units, so this is for your display unit. Okay, so for that you will have this decimal places. You will have this decimal places. But if you choose architectural, you will have this fractional unit, and the unit will be feet and inches for both architectural and engineering. And if you choose decimal, so for that uh, you will have this decimal number of places for meter, centimeter, millimeter kind of units. And uh, you can choose fractional. Okay, so this fractional will be for uh, like the same. Okay, what you use for decimal, that will be same for millimeter, centimeter. But here you will see in the fraction. You will see the values in fraction, like 1/16. So let's choose decimal if you're using millimeters. And this is your insertion scale. So you use this insertion scale for inserting this drawing into another drawing, and this drawing will be inserted by this unit. So as per this unit, it will be scaled when you are inserting this drawing into another drawing. So as per that, you'll be setting it. So let's click on OK. So you have set your insertion scale, but you haven't provided your drawing units. So for that, you have DWG unit. The command is dash DWG units, enter, and you see that here for each unit we have numbers. For inches, you have 1, for feet, you have 2, for millimeters, you have 3, for centimeter, you have 4, and all. So you can see right now the activated unit is 1. So that means inches. Your drawing unit is right now inches, but you have to set to millimeters. So for that, you will type 3, enter. And then it's asking for display format, your drawing unit display format. So that will be either uh, 1 for scientific, 2 for decimal, and can go for 3 for architectural and engineering and all. Okay, so let me go for 2 decimal unit. And what will be the display precision, how precise value you need. So after point or after that decimal point, I need 2-digit maximum. So that will be great for me. Let's provide 2 and enter. Then scale object from other drawing upon insert. So when you will be inserting other drawing into this current drawing, it will be scaled or not. So obviously we will be scaling it. So let's go for yes. And it's asking you to match insertion unit to drawing units. So if you want to match it, like if your insertion unit is inches and you are currently drawing in millimeter, so it will be no. But if you are matching your insertion unit and drawing unit, then it will be yes. So your insertion unit is millimeter and your drawing unit is millimeter. So let's match it, yes. And scale objects in current drawing to reflect change in units. Suppose if you have created any drawing earlier with the inches and right now you are changing the unit. So as per this change in unit, your drawing will be scaled. So that you want yes or no. So obviously yes. And include objects in paper space. I have already mentioned what is called paper space, and in that I'll definitely include it. So I'll go for yes. So right now my unit is set and that grid spacing and snap spacing is set. So let's go for it. And here you can see this snap mode. So when you take any drawing object, you will find out. Okay. So now let me draw some lines with the help of this grid. Okay. Okay. Now here and here. Okay. Now let me do one thing, that is me place this line. Okay, I will be copying it. So for that I'll choose copy and this will be the base point, and where it will be copied at this grid snap point, I'll be copying it. At this grid snap point, I'll be copying it. Okay, so like this, you can place your multiple duplicate objects, but if multiple objects is needed in one particular direction with the same gap for each duplicate object, then what you can do is within this copy option, before specifying the second point, you have this array and you just have to specify the number of items, how many number of items you need. So let me go for like 10 number of items I need. So 10 number of items, 10 number of lines will be placed on this point, and there you have. Okay, that you have created. Okay, this command copy. Now let me do one thing. Let me delete this two line. Okay, and do the same for this vertical line. Choose copy option, and here I will choose this point as base point because here I can uh, get these points easily and I will understand. I can choose this point as well. Nothing to worry about because I'm using grid snap points. So let's go with the array and how many number I need. So including this one, I'll place three more. So total number of items will be four and enter. And then specify the second point, and based on the gap from your base point to second point, that will be followed for each duplicate object. Okay, so right now you have created this one. Okay, so now let me do one thing. Let me create some circles over there. Okay, so let's go for circle, and here I will go with like 2 point, and the radius of the circle is 3. So if I have this first point here and in this direction, I'm you know that this is the diameter endpoint. The next point you will be specifying that is the diameter endpoint. So from the first point, the second point distance is the diameter endpoint. So if you specify the diameter value for the distance, then you can specify the radius as well. So for specifying or locating the second point, I can use coordinate value, right? So for that, at the rate, and if the radius is 3, so the diameter value will be 6. And then at the rate 0 degree, right? So enter, and there you can see this one is created. Okay, so this one is created. So now this is too much big, and here I need to apply 0.6. So I'll go with at the rate 0.6 less than 0 degree, enter, and there I have created. Okay, now what I'll do, I'll mirror this. I'll select it, I'll press enter, and then I have to specify the mirror axis. So this line will be the mirror axis, but I cannot select the object. I have to define with the point. So if I define this linear direction with this 2 point, first point, and then the second point, then this line will be the mirror axis. Then you have to define, you want to erase your source object, yes or no. You want to keep your source object, then go for no. If you want to delete your source object, then go for yes. So I need that. Okay, fine. Now let me go with tan radius. So this left side object will be the first tangent object. So right now let me off this snap mode, otherwise it will only grip the intersection point. So let me select any of this circle top surface or top circumference. So from that, it will take the tangent of this circle. So this is my first tangent object. and then second tangent object and the radius value. Okay, then you have to specify the radius value. So you take that TTR option, tangent radius, then you specify first tangent object, then you specify second tangent object, and then you specify the radius, that is 0.3. And there you have created. Okay, so right now I need here also. So I will go for copy. And now you see that I'm selecting these three circles only. How easily I'm selecting with this green window selection. So this is called green window selection. Suppose if I had chosen this green window selection, so it would have selected all these horizontal and vertical lines also. So if I go with this blue window selection, so right now just concentrate here that it is only covering these three circles. So the main function of this blue window selection that you have to cover all your objects within this blue window, then only you can select your object. Okay, and how to create it? So wherever you click, if after clicking it, don't hold the click. After clicking it, if you drag towards right side, then you can form the blue window selection. And wherever you are clicking, if you are dragging towards left side, so then you are forming a green window. So the green window, the function of green window is just crossing over the object can be selected. Okay, so see, just I'm crossing over this horizontal line and it will be selected. Okay, so for quicker selection, let me go with this blue window selection, and right now it is selected. Okay, so I'll go with a copy. I'll make duplicates and let me select them. After selecting it, I will press enter or right click, and then you specify the base point. So this point will be the base point. So as per this point, I can place it on the right location. So this is the base point, and then it will be placed here and done. And after that, you have to escape. Okay, so right now let me also place it here at the middle. So I'll specify the base point and then I'll go for this midpoint, and there I have placed it. Okay. And now let me also go for tangent radius, tangent, tangent, and the radius 0.3, enter. And there you have created. Now let me do mirror for this too. So I'll choose mirror. After selecting it, if you go for the command, then you don't have to select object. You can go for the next step. So this is the midpoint. So first point of a mirror axis, then second point of a mirror axis, and go for erase source object no, and you have done. You have done it. Okay. So for better visualization, what you can do, you can select all this object and you can highlight with different color. So each and every object has three different properties, three different basic and common property. So that is those three common properties are color, line weight, and line type. So here within this property panel, you can find out these three properties. So whenever you are applying these properties, so that means you are overriding these properties on the inherent property of that object. Are you getting it? So whenever you are applying the change in the properties, so that means you are overriding the properties on the inherent properties of the object. Okay, so let me highlight with this green color or red color or any particular color you can highlight it. Okay, so that's how you can create. Okay. So now let me go with a different value. So now if I want to select all these lines, so for that, what I can do, I can like, so after selecting one line, right click and go for select similar. And with this, you can easily select all the similar lines. Okay. With the similar properties, you can select all the line. And right now it is selected. Let me copy it to this side, and I will go horizontally. Okay. So after that, what I'll do, I will scale this. I will scale this to make it bigger, right? So after selecting it, choose, first go for this scale option, or the command is SC. Then select this object, then press enter or right click, and then specify the base point. So this point will be fixed. So I don't want to, if I scale it, it will be changed in the position as well, and it will be bigger in size. So the gap may be changed. So I need to fix this point, and from this point it will be scaled. So what will be the scale factor? Let me go with 10, 10 as the multiplying scale factor, and press enter. And right now it is 10 times bigger. Okay. Now let me apply arc for my next diagram. So for creating arcs, we have 11 ways, 11 different ways to create arc in AutoCAD. So what is arc? What arc is incomplete curve, right? Incomplete curve. And to create incomplete curves, you have these methods. So 3 point, based on 3 points, it will be created. So start, center, end. So first you will be defining the start point and the center point and then the end point. Let me just show you first. So this is start point. This point you have specified this. This has been taken as a start point, and then the center point. And based on the distance, based on the distance from the start point, the radius has been taken, and then you will define the end point where it will be ended, where it will be end. Okay. So you can define any point there, and based on that it is created. So you just define all these things. So everything will be easier for creating, like start, center, angles. So you specify start and then center, then rather than specifying the point, you just specify the angle. So as per the angle, the endpoint will be created. Now let me show you this start, center, length. So you specify the start point and then the center, and the length you define. Okay. So that as per that length, it will be created, and the curve direction will always be taken in the positive direction. So you'll all know what is the positive direction. So your counterclockwise is the positive direction. Okay. So let me specify the length. So length, let me go for 100, enter. And here we have distance for checking. So TI is the command for measure, and this is the first point and this is the second point, and between these 2 points, there you can see this is the distance. You can press F2 for opening this AutoCAD text window or command history window, and there you can see this is the distance, right? And now let me go for escape. And this way you can create other arcs. So let me show you another. things that is. So here also you have this center start length. So first you will be mentioning center point and then start, then length. So that is easy. Now we have another option that is different, that is start and direction. So for uh, creating this diagram, I'll choose that option. So let me show you start and direction option. Just a second, guys. Delete it. And now let me quickly measure the distance from this point to this point. So the distance is 50. Okay. So let me do one thing. Let me scale it 2 times more. Okay. So that I can have the distance like 100. Okay. So 100 in this direction as well. Yeah. Okay. So I have this distance. Okay. Now, what I'll do, I will create some line with the different properties. Okay. So what I'll do, I will change the color. Let me change the color. So let me choose this color and I will choose some different line weight. So let me go with this line weight. And if you want, you can go with different line weight as well. So for that line weight, you need to load it first. You need to load it and then you can apply it. So all these things need to load within this line type. Okay. Because for each line type, there is separate files and within that file, you have to load it. Okay. From that file, you have to load it. So like you have center line, dotted line, dash line, hidden line, this kind of lines you have available and you have to load it here if you want to apply it. So right now I don't need to apply. So I can go with continuous and here you can see that is the property for this is right now at the default condition it is set to by layer. So by layer means uh, that is the inherent properties you can understand simply. So as per the layer here, some default layers are created as per the layer, the properties are defined. That is the meaning of bilayer. So right now I'm not changing it. So I have already mentioned that if you are applying this property uh, change in the properties, so that means you are overriding the inherent properties of your object. So let me create line here. So let me create one line here. Here you can see that this line is created, but it is great. Right now it is showing with zero thickness. I can't see the line weight. So for that, what you have to do, you have to on this line weight display. So this line weight display is right now off. You can type LWD as a command. You can go to this customization and you can add this LWD or line weight display within this status bar. And now you can see the line weight, right? Now let me go for arc and let me choose start and direction. Okay, so as per the start, you will define the direction and the direction will be the tangent direction from the start point. Okay, so first start point and then the end point, and this is the direction. So this direction is taken tangent from the start. Okay, so that you can understand. So from this start point to the another point, the direction of these 2 point will be defined as the direction. Okay, so this is how it is created. Let me go with this same start point, then this will be the end point, and this is going to be the direction. You can choose this ortho mode. Okay, so that is right now created. And you can find out the midpoint as well. So Just a second. So I need to create some more lines within the mid within the middle of this two lines. So for that, if I need to create parallel lines in a particular distance, I can go with the copy. And if I need to specify with the distance, so that I can go with offset for creating parallel lines and concentric closed object. If you have rectangle or circle. So for that, if you are applying offset, that will create concentric objects. So now let me go with distance. So the total distance was 100 and I need to place in the middle. So I'll go with 50, enter. Now let me choose this here and this here. Okay. And let me go for this here as well. Okay. So now let me find it out how it will be placed. Okay. So I have to identify the midpoint. So this is the midpoint. You see that when I'm selecting this grip, sorry, I'm selecting this line, I can see these three grips. So these three grips are the last two grips are called the endpoint, and this is the midpoint. So with this grip, you can control this also. So in later class, I will show you about all this grip points function. Now this is the mid one. Okay. And to this side also I need some more lines. So let me go with uh, go for offset, as because I don't have this snap mode on. I'm not applying snap mode anymore. So let's go with 100. Let's choose this side, this side. Okay, and now you can see that these like these horizontal lines need to be extended, right? So I can select each line, and for this each grip, I have this stretch or lengthen. So when to apply stretch? So if you are increasing and decreasing in any direction for this line, so then you can go for stretch. Like you can stretch, you can increase the length, you can increase the length in this direction from this point, you can decrease in this direction. So if any direction you are increasing or decreasing, then go for stretch. And if you are increasing or decreasing in this linear direction, so then go for lengthen. So you don't have to worry about the direction change. It will maintain that linear condition. It will always increase or decrease in this linear direction only if you go for lengthen. So this way also you can increase it, you can extend these lines. So it will be really tedious task if I go for each line this way and extend from endpoint, right? So for that, what I have this extend option available. I will choose this extend option and I will extend all this together. There you can see, right? If I select all this together, they will be extended to this boundary, to the closer boundary, right? So here also let me apply it, and there you can see, right? So it is applied. Right now I don't need this vertical lines. I'll delete it. Okay. And now let me select it, and this is the vertical, this is the midline. You can change the color so that you can easily identify this is your color. Okay. And now let me go for this 3 point now. So I'll go for 3 point and I'll specify this point, and then this point there. Okay. And then now I'll go for again this start and direction. So this is your start point and this is the end point. And from this start, this horizontal will be the direction. So specify this point. Okay. So let me check if this is the direction. I think this is not the point. So let me go for the offset and let me change the value 50, enter. Here I also need one offset value. Okay, so there I don't need it. And let me go for start and direction. And before start and direction, let me place with the 3 point. So this is 1 point, the intersection point, and then there it will be 1 point. Okay, so before that I need another curve. So for that I'll go with start and direction. So first start point. Okay, and it will be placed here. Just a second. Let me check it. So here it will be. Okay, and this is the direction. Okay. And sorry for this will be placed here. So let me delete it and let me go with this 3 point, then first point, second point, and then third point here. Okay, so about the next one, I'll go again for 3 point, first point, and then the second point, and then the third point here. Okay, and then go for start and direction. This is your first point, then then this will be the direction as because from the start it take the tangent direction. Okay, so this how you can create this one. So I have created 1/4 of this diagram, and what I'll do, I will select these diagram. Okay, I have selected this diagram, and now what I'll do, I will mirror it, and then first point and then the second point. I have done it. I will not erase the source object. So that is done. And right now what you can do, you can select it, select this object, right click and go for select similar. So all these arc with the similar properties, it is right now selected. And after that go for mirror, then first point and then the second point and no. And there you have defined it. So some more lines is needed there. Okay. Uh, and this is not the middle line. Okay, so here you can extend it. Now I need one something. Let me place with a copy. We have this line over there. So I'll go for this as a base point, and then I'll go with array, and then number of items will be 3, and press enter, and then specify this as a second point. And based on that, I have this total 3 items there. And now I can go for extend and then extend these lines. And now you can see that these arcs are also being selected, right? So you can do it like that. Or if you're going with this extend option, okay. Okay, so what you can do, you can go for this boundary edges, select these objects, then enter, then okay, just a second. Okay, this is the boundary edge, enter, and then can select this object like this, enter. Okay, so that is created. And now I will create ellipse. So for creating ellipse, you can go with two different methods. One is center and another is axis end. So you know that ellipse has two axes, that is major axis and other is minor axis. So if you go with this axis endpoint, that is the default method. So for any first axis, you have to define 2 point. For any first axis, you have to define 2 point. And when you have defined 2 point for the first axis, then it has taken the center, and from the center, it can take the one endpoint of the other axis, and it can complete the whole length of the other axis. So let me go with that default. So first point and then the second point for the first axis. And you see that it has taken the center. So if you define the only one endpoint of the other axis, so other endpoint will be taken equally to the opposite side from the center, right? So that is done. You can do this also with the center option. You can do this also with the center option. So you just need to define the center point. So this will be the center, and then the one endpoint of the first axis, and then the other endpoint, just one endpoint of the other axis. So that is defined here. Okay, so this is the diagram. Okay, so that is created here. And let me show you another diagram where I'll be applying elliptical arc and trim option. So for that, I have some dimensions. So I'll go with ellipse. Okay, so let me go with this axis endpoint, and let me specify anywhere. The first point will be the random, and I will be calculating from that point. So I'll take relative, and I can take relative polar or relative Cartesian. So I'll take relative polar. So the other end, so this axis total length is 110. So I'll go 110 less than 270. So from the previous point, it will go towards south. So that's why 270 and the length is 110, enter. So that is taken. And from this center, so for the next axis, what is the length? The next axis, that is 60. So from the center, I will go towards this direction. So towards this direction, you can on this ortho mode so that you can have the straight line. So you can just place your mouse across here to this direction, and there you can just type 30, enter. Okay. You can do the same at the rate 30 less than 0 degree, that you can also do it. And if you go for this offset, and the offset value will be like 5 will be the offset value, enter. And the gap is right now, this side is 5 and this side is 5. Okay, this side is 5, this side is 5. So the gap is 5. Okay, so now you can tell me what is the major axis and what is the distance for minor axis. You can tell me that. Now you see that I have done it with the offset, but it has created a spline. It is not ellipse. So if you need ellipse, if you need to create ellipse, so that you have to define with this center so that you can easily identify the center point. If you just hover your mouse on the circumference of this ellipse, it will identify, it will highlight the geometric center. So geometric center you will find out for those objects which are not created by center. So those objects which are not based by center generally don't have centers. So for those objects you will find geometric centers as per the geometrical shape they have their center points. So if you hover your mouse on the circumference, it will highlight the center, and this is the center. And from the center, you can give the first axis one endpoint distance. So let me go with at the rate, and that will be 50 less than 90 or 270. And then from the center at the rate, so the distance is 35. Okay, so sorry, not 35. It will be 25. Sorry. It will be 25 as because it will maintain the 5 gap, right? So from the center, the previous or the outer ellipse axis was 30, so it will take 25. So at the rate 25 less than 0, enter. At the rate 25 less than, sorry, less than 0, enter. That is created. And now if you select it, you can see this is ellipse right now. Okay. Now I will create two line. One will be vertical, another will be horizontal. So let me create it. Press enter or press bar. If you press space bar, so it will activate the previous command so that you can easily activate the last command. So right now it is created. And now let me create elliptical arc. So for elliptical arc, first you have to create ellipse. And for creating ellipse, you have two different methods, that is center based and another is axis endpoint based. So it's better you go with the center, so it will be easier for you to create it. So let's define the midpoint as the center. And I have two axes. The first axis is 60 and another is 35. Okay, so let me go for the 60 dimension axis in the vertical direction. So from the center it will be 30 at the rate 30 less than 90, enter. And then in the horizontal direction at the rate 17.5 less than 0 or 180 degree, that you can type, enter. And now your ellipse has been created. You have to define the start angle for your arc. Okay, so let me define the start angle. So this one will be the start angle. Okay, so this direction will be the start angle and this direction will be the end angle. Okay, that is created right now. And let me create another ellipse. So for that I'll choose center. So I'll click center on this command line window and then define the center point and then specify the endpoint of your first axis, one endpoint of your first axis. So the length is 40 and 26. So the 40 axis is in the vertical direction. So at the rate 20, as because I'm calculating from the center, less than 270, enter. And then at the rate 13 less than 0 degree, enter. And what will be the start angle? So this one will be the start angle and this one will be the end angle. Okay, so that is created right now. Now what I'll do, I need these, as because you can see this is the one. right? So here I need it. Here I need it. Another one. So how I can do it? So for that, I'll choose rotate. I'll select it. I'll select this to press enter. What will be the base point? This center, based on this center. So here you can see that rotation angle. If the rotation angle is 180°, then you will have it, right? But you can see that if I specify the rotation angle, the main object will be rotated. This two will be rotated, and I'll miss the main object. There I need to again create it. So for that, what I'll do before specifying the rotation angle, within this rotate command, I have this copy option. So I'll select that copy and it will create a duplicate object and that duplicate object will be rotated. So what will be the angle? 180°. Enter. And there I have created. Okay. And for this intersection of this vertical line and horizontal line, I will create curves. So for that, I'll choose fillet. So fillet is the operation to apply curves on the intersection of two objects. So I'll choose fillet. You can type F, enter, and then provide the radius. So the radius is 10, and then enter. And here you can see the mode is right now trim. You can see that mode here it is mentioned, that is trim. So if you select this one and if you select this horizontal line, so it will trim the other part and it will provide the curve. But I don't need to trim it. For that, what I'll do, I'll go with the fillet, provide the radius 10, and then I'll go with no trim mode. I'll go with no trim mode and choose multiple, as because within this single fillet command, I will go with the same radius value for 4 times. So I'll go with multiple. So first, then second, again first and then second, first and then second, the first object and then second. And now I will trim these parts. Let me cancel it. Now let me go for trim. And now let me trim it. Okay. So as because I'm using the latest version 2021, so I can activate trim without pressing any enter. If you are using older version, so you have to go with TR double enter, or if you are going with this icon, so after clicking on this icon, you have to press one enter if you are using older version. So this trim is done and your diagram is ready. Okay. So this how you can create arc, ellipse. All right. I hope it is clear. You can create all these diagrams. Thank you all.